He told the woman he loved that he would return for her one day. 10 years later, he came back rich, successful, and ready to marry her. But the moment he arrived home, he learned the heartbreaking truth. In the quiet village of Ogbona, everyone believed that John and Amanda would one day marry. They had grown up together. They fetched water together from the same stream, attended the same school, and spent countless evenings sitting beneath the giant Iroko tree overlooking the village square. They were literally inseparable. Their love was no secret. Even their family spoke of their future wedding as if it were already arranged. But love alone could not defeat poverty. At 23, John was determined to change his life. His father had died years earlier, leaving behind debts and responsibilities. John watched his mother struggle every day and knew he had little to offer Amanda except promises. So when an opportunity came to move to Abuja with a distant relative, he took it. The night before his departure, he met Amanda beneath the Iroko tree. Holding her hands tightly, he made a promise. "I will come back for you." Amanda believed him. She gave him a small bracelet woven from blue and white threads. "Don't forget me." "I never could." The next morning, John left. Neither of them knew it would be the last time they would see each other for many years. Abuja was not the dream John imagined. His relative treated him like unpaid labor. He worked long hours at construction sites, slept on floors, and often went to bed hungry. For months he sent letters home. Amanda replied faithfully. Her words became his source of strength. Then tragedy struck. A fire destroyed the small apartment where John lived. He lost all his belongings, including Amanda's letters and the notebook containing her contact information. The fire destroyed more than John's belongings. It wiped out every contact he had. At the time, he was struggling to survive and barely earning enough to feed himself. Returning home felt like admitting failure, and he was ashamed to face Amanda without the future he had promised her. He convinced himself that once he became successful, he would return and explain everything. Meanwhile, Amanda continued writing. No replies came. Months turned into years. From her perspective, John had simply abandoned her. From his perspective, he was postponing his return until he could give her the life he believed she deserved. Back in Ogbona, John's older brother, Peter, remained in the village. Unlike John, Peter was quiet and dependable. He helped their aging mother. He repaired roofs. He farmed the family land. And over time, he watched Amanda's heartbreak. He saw her waiting. He saw her disappointment every time the postman arrived with nothing. Years passed. Villagers began to talk. That boy has forgotten her. She cannot wait forever. Life must move on. Amanda tried to ignore them. But loneliness is a powerful thing, especially when hope begins to die. One evening, Amanda's mother fell seriously ill. Medical bills quickly piled up. During that difficult period, Peter stepped forward to help. He spent money he could barely afford. He accompanied them to clinics. He became a constant source of support. Unlike John's promises, Peter's actions were visible. Gradually, friendship grew between them. Not the passionate love Amanda once felt for John. Something quieter. Safer. Something more reliable. When Peter eventually proposed marriage, Amanda hesitated. Part of her heart still belonged to John. But after nearly 8 years of silence, she finally accepted reality. John was gone. Life had moved forward. She said yes. 3 years later, a black SUV rode into Ogbona. Children chased behind it. Villagers gathered to stare. The man who stepped out was barely recognizable. Expensive clothes. Confident posture. Success written all over him. It was John. After years of struggle, he had built a successful construction company in Abuja. Twice, John planned trips home, but business crises forced him to postpone them. Each delay convinced him that he should wait a little longer until he had enough success to justify his absence. What he didn't know was that life back in Ogbona was moving on without him. Now, he had finally achieved everything he once dreamed of. And now he had come home for one reason: to marry Amanda. As he walked through the village, smiling faces welcomed him. Then he noticed something strange. People exchanged uncomfortable glances. No one seemed excited by his return. An elderly neighbor finally spoke. "John, you don't know." His smile faded. "Know what?" The old man sighed. "Amanda is married." John laughed nervously. "Married? To who?" The answer shattered him. "Your brother." That evening, John confronted Peter. Years of buried emotions exploded. "You knew I loved her. And where were you?" Peter replied. "Trying to build a future. For 10 years. I planned to come home more times than you know. But every year I told myself I needed just a little more time." Peter shook his head. "And while you were delaying, she was sitting here waiting for you. I watched her cry for you. I watched her wait." What was she supposed to do? Wait forever? John had no answer, because from Amanda's perspective, he had vanished. And from Peter's perspective, he had abandoned her. No one had intended betrayal. Life had simply taken a cruel turn. After learning that Amanda was married to Peter, John felt as though the ground had disappeared beneath his feet. He wanted answers. He wanted to ask why she had stopped waiting. He wanted to explain the fire, the years of struggle, and the promises he had never forgotten. But every time he saw her, she was beside his brother, carrying a child, or surrounded by family. And each time, he reminded himself of one painful truth: she was no longer his to question. Nor was he hers to explain himself to. So the conversation never happened, not because they had nothing to say, but because they had too much. Instead, they exchanged only brief greetings whenever circumstances forced them together. Yet behind those few words lived an entire history that neither dared to revisit. Months later, John left Ogbona once again, this time not because he was chasing success, but because staying was too painful. As his vehicle pulled away, he glanced one final time at the village. At the home where Amanda now lived, at the life that might have been his. Near a small roadside stall, he saw Amanda. For a brief moment, their eyes met. Neither smiled, neither waved, neither spoke. Then the vehicle continued down the road. And just like that, the chapter they had never finished remained unfinished forever. And sometimes the greatest tragedy is not losing the person you love, it is finding them again after life has already chosen a different path. The evening sun painted the sky orange and gold, just as it had on the day John made his promise beneath the Iroko tree. A promise that neither of them had intended to break. John returned to Abuja carrying a successful life but a wounded heart. Amanda remained in Ogbona with her husband and family, determined to honor the life she had built. And Peter continued doing what he had always done, taking care of the people he loved, even when it came at a great personal cost. Years later, the village would still whisper about their story. Some said John should have found a way to come back sooner. Others believed Amanda should have waited longer. And many argued that Peter should never have married the woman his brother loved. But perhaps life is not always that simple. Perhaps sometimes everyone is right, and everyone is wrong. So now, I want to hear from you. Who do you think was wrong in this story? Was it John, for living and staying away for so many years? Was it Amanda, for giving up and marrying another man? Or was it Peter, for marrying the woman his brother loved? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, And turn on notifications for more emotional African stories that explore love, family, sacrifice, and the difficult choices that shape our lives. Until the next story, remember, sometimes the hardest battles are not between good and evil, but between love and time.